do like to warn people because we do know a lot of people are afraid of snakes. The one he's bringing out right now has been a pet, and we have had him for around 10 years, so he is completely
Don't worry, you don't need to touch the snake.
There's no need to be afraid of him, but when he's walking around, if you don't want to pet him, just put your hands in your lap, nod your head no, and he'll walk right past you. So the snake he's bringing out right now is our Florida pine snake.
Don't worry.
The one he's bringing out right now is Bart. Now Bart is here because, like a lot of our animals, he was a pet at one time. He's too docile, too calm to be released back to the wild, and also he's way too used to humans and doesn't really know how to hunt for his own food. So it'd be way too dangerous for us to release him back out to the wild. So our pine snakes, they aren't very commonly seen out in the wild because these guys are burrowers. So they dig under the ground. They live under the ground, so you won't commonly see them. Also, where they live, the pineland trails and woodlands, they blend in very well. So that's another reason why you don't see these guys very often. What they do is these guys actually have little bumps on their back. These bumps are called keeled scales. What this does is it actually allows them to burrow through the ground a lot easier. It kind of gives them a little bit of grip on the ground so they're not sliding through it. If they didn't have the grips, their keels. When he's walking around, you are more than welcome to pet. We're just going to ask 2 fingers gently down his back. If you rub up and down his sleeves, it's very uncomfortable for him, and we don't want to harm him in any way and scare him. So our snakes, as you see, he's sticking out his tongue. Is he being rude? No. Does anybody know what he's doing?
He's smelling.
He's smelling, exactly, right? So what they do is they actually do have a nose like us. The only difference is that their nostrils are used for breathing. They don't use their nostrils for smelling. What they do is they usually eat their prey whole, so when they eat their prey, they can't really breathe through their mouth. So what they're going to do is breathe through their nose when they're eating and stuff. So what they do is that tongue is actually split, as you see when he's sticking it out. It's split, so he can smell 2 different things at once, be it prey or predator, so he knows which way to go. And also, what happens is the scent particles will land on his tongue. He'll stick his tongue back to his mouth and touch the roof of his mouth. On the roof of his mouth, there's an organ there called the Jacobson organ. What this does is it basically just paints a visual picture in his head of what he's smelling. So snakes also don't have ears. They can't hear anything we're saying. Well, what they can hear is vibrations. They feel vibrations. So if you were to see a snake and you scream, he's not going to hear that. Unless he sees you, he's not even going to notice you. He'll keep on sunning or whatever he's doing. But if you stomp your feet, rustle those leaves, that's what he's going to hear. And obviously you're huge and he wants nothing to do with us. So that snake's going to go the complete opposite way as soon as he hears that. Because we really are huge compared to these snakes and they want nothing to do with us. The only reason why they'd bite you is if you were messing with them, because that's really the only way of defense. Just like us, we can push, pull, say no, scream for help. These guys can't do that. So they're just going to bite. That's the main way of defense. So if you just leave the snakes alone, they're going to leave you alone. So here in Florida, we actually have 40 to 50 different types of species of snakes. Now, out of all those snakes, only 6 of those are venomous in Florida, and only 4 of those are venomous in South Florida. Now, the 4 that are venomous in South Florida are cottonmouth or water moccasin. It depends where you're from. It's the same snake, called by 2 different names. Then we have our coral snake. Our coral snake, the poem goes, red touch yellow, which is our coral snake, kill a fellow. Then red touch black, friend of Jack, which is any snake that mimics that. Then we have our pygmy rattlesnake and our diamondback rattlesnake. Now, our snakes, there is a difference between poison and venom. If you've ever called a snake poisonous, that's actually not true. There is no such thing as a poisonous snake. All snakes are venomous. The reason why is because poison is something that you eat or drink. Do you eat or drink snake venom? No. Snake venom is something that's injected to you. So that's why that there are venomous. So he is putting him back into our snake bag. Yes, we do know this is a pillowcase. The reason why is because these guys are cold-blooded, just like our alligator, the reptiles. So whatever temperature it is outside, that's what temperature they're inside. And back here, it's air-conditioned because we live in Florida. It's hot all the time, and it's good for our other animals. So what it does is it basically just helps keep them nice and warm. It also helps with transportation. So everything back here does go back out to a larger enclosure. So we'll take them back out, and it's easier to carry them that than carrying them other way. We do take in donations of pillowcases if you're ever doing any cleaning.
All right, let's give her a round of applause.
All right, so for this next animal, I need everybody to raise their right hand. Repeat after me. I promise
I promise
not to hold my nose
not to hold my nose
or say ew
or say ew
when the next animal is brought out.
What next animal is it?
Any guesses?
Skunk.
Skunk, that's right. All right, so we are bringing out our striped skunk.
Look at it, a skunk.
So here in Florida, we actually have two types of skunks. This is one of them right here. This is our spotted skunk. And then right here we have our striped skunk. Now a lot of people wonder why we don't bring out our spotted skunks. They are biters, and obviously we don't want to get bit, and we don't want you guys to get bit either. So that's why we don't bring them out. But these guys are actually kept as pets pretty commonly, and so that's why Clyde is here. He was actually kept as a pet at one time. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But once they're pets, they're de-skunked or demusked, which means they can't spray anymore. So he couldn't be released back to the wild because he wouldn't be able to defend himself, right? So, this is our spotted skunk. These guys actually live by the beach. If you've been to the beach here in Jupiter, you may have smelled or even seen one before. If they were to spray something, it can be smelled from over a mile away. So that's a really, really potent spray. You do not want to get sprayed or even be near that spray if they were to. But, you're going to notice, he's doing a handstand, right? Why would he be doing a handstand? That's actually their warning before they spray. So if you see one doing a handstand, you better get out of there. Because they can actually spray about 12 to 15 feet, both of them can. So they can spray a long ways. If there was a skunk right here, it could spray all the way to the second to last bench. So even if it does that, you may still be getting sprayed. So that, like I said though, it is very potent. You do not want to get sprayed by either of these guys. There is a myth that tomato juice or tomato paste will take the spray right out if you rub it into your clothes and on you. Not true, it's not gonna work. The reason why is because tomato juice and tomato paste is water-based. Skunk spray is oil-based. And do oil and water mix?
No.
No. So it's not gonna do anything. You're just gonna smell like a rotten tomato. It's just not gonna work. But these guys are gonna be eating clams, anything that washes ashore, like fish, any dead birds that are on the beach, stuff like that, that's what they're gonna be eating. Whereas these guys like to live more inland. They're gonna live in the pineland trails, in the woods and places like that. And they both are scavengers, meaning they're going to come across stuff and that's what they're going to eat. They don't go hunting for their food. But those guys are going to be eating berries, anything that they can find, little bugs. They do like to dig, so they may be even digging in ant piles and stuff like that to eat the ants that are there. So that's what they're going to be eating. Now, unfortunately, because they are scavengers, when we throw litter out our window onto the highway and stuff, that's what's going to attract them, because it also attracts bugs too. So they like both of those things. So, banana peels are biodegradable, right? Okay. Well, you throw those out your window, they're going to come along and they're going to accidentally get hit by a car. Because when these guys spray something, they're expecting it to go the other way, right? Do cars work like that? No. Cars aren't going to stop if a skunk sprays it. Your car's going to smell it, but it's still not going to stop. So basically, these guys are just going to end up getting run over. So that's another reason we ask you guys not to litter, because it can kill animals too. And so that's just another reason why we shouldn't be littering. But like I said, these guys are commonly kept as pets, like I was going to get into later. So these guys, a lot of people will go into pet stores, they'll find them, and they'll be all cute and cuddly, because when you go into a pet store, it's normally going to be during the day, right? So these guys are asleep because they're nocturnal. They're just going to be all cute and cuddly. A lot of times they're going to be babies. People don't realize how big they actually get. Now when you see them here, you may think, hey, that looks like a pretty good pet, but they still smell, even though they are demusked or descented. These guys still smell very, very bad. If you've ever had a ferret or know somebody who's had a ferret, it is not a pleasant smell. And it just does not smell good at all. Also, they cannot be litter box trained. So even if you think they can and people tell you they can, they can't. They're just trying to sell you a skunk and make some money. They cannot be litter box trained. Also, they're going to be hiding your keys, coins, anything like that they can find, and they're going to be hiding those. And when you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you're not going to be able to find your keys, maybe even your wallet and stuff like that. These guys are normally the culprit. And so also along with that, they're going to be going to the bathroom everywhere. When you were petting them, you're going to feel that it was actually very soft, and this is what happens in captivity. It's because we have oils on our hands, and so it rubs off on their fur, and so what ends up happening is that their fur gets very soft, and it turns that yellow color. Normally, it would be like this, and it would be a very pale yellow, but unfortunately, once those oils get on their fur, it turns to a yellow. If we were to stop petting them, it would go back to that white though.
All right, guys, I need everybody to stay seated. Girls, you'll need to stay seated. Find a chair. Thank you. We have to stay quiet because we're bringing out some other animals, okay? So the next animals we're bringing out are our birds of prey. We're not going to be able to pet them, but we want to make sure that you guys understand that a lot of our animals come in injured, kind of a domino effect. So one way we can help wildlife is make sure that we don't litter. A lot of our animals come in either shot or hit by cars, and Amanda was hit by a car. So I want to make sure that you guys, let's give Tyler and Taylor another round of applause, because, I don't know about you guys, but at this age, being able to come come up here and talk with all the ups and downs, the running around, things like that. It's very distracting. So for them to be able to do this, you know, it's really cool. So make sure you pat them on the back. They are part of our Junior Naturalist program, our counselors that help me out with other programs that we do here. So I'm really proud of them. So we're going to go on to our birds of
Look
prey.
how beautiful.
So this is Amanda, and Amanda is our crested caracara. Now, as she said, Amanda is here because she was hit by a car. What happened was, a lot of times that is the most common reason. Usually when they're brought in, when our birds of prey are brought in, either shot, hit by a car, or kept as a pet. And what happens when they're hit by a car is they usually break a wing, or fracture a wing, damage it in some way or another. Now, a lot of times, sometimes we are able to fix it back up and they are able to be released. But what happened was, she was actually, it was too badly damaged, or we didn't get to it in time. We don't always know the full story. So that's why she's here. She is around 15 years old. When they are brought in as an adult, we can't give an exact age. We just estimate based
She's
on
so
how
beautiful.
long we've had her. So when he's walking around, as she said, you can't pet the bird. The reason why is because the oils on her hands actually mess up their feathers. Another reason why is because birds are very unpredictable animals and they can be skittish. So we don't know if they're trying to bite, and also they do poop. They like to keep very clean nests. So walking in between aisles wouldn't end up very pretty sometimes. So our crested caracara, they get that name with the crested due to their crest on their head. They're actually going to raise that up when they're when they're on alert, when they're feeling scared or feeling threatened. They also have that face. That face is actually what caracara means in Spanish. So face, the reason why they get that is because their skin, as you see right now, it's that bright orange. That's good. When they're scared, it's actually going to turn to a pale yellow. Once that happens, the reason why it happens is due to the certain vessels in their skin, and that's why they're able to do that. When they do that, that's kind of like a warning for the predator. If the predator still ignores the caracara after that and keeps on trying to bother it, this guy actually can projectile vomit onto that predator. So these guys are actually a falcon. They're also often called a mixed up bird because they don't really look like a falcon. They look more like some kind of exotic vulture kind of like thing. But the reason why they're considered a falcon is because of the notch on their side of their beak. And what that does is it helps sever the spinal cord of whatever they're eating. Now these guys are not very fast flyers. Unlike their cousin, which is the peregrine falcon, the fastest animal in the world, these guys are not very fast flyers at all. But they do have very strong, fast legs. So what they use that for when they're on the side of the road. They're often seen on the side of the road hanging out by vultures because they like any kind of dead meat, carrion, anything like that. So they're often seen on the side of the road with vultures. Now these guys are actually dominant over vultures. So if the vultures are being mean, the crested caracara wants to be mean, and the most typical reason is because there's not enough food for either of them. The crested caracara is able to scare the vulture away and get all the food for itself. Now these guys, a lot of people ask, like, why don't I see them around here? The reason why is because these guys are mainly native, found in Mexico and the top half of South America. They are so native here. We still do have a small pocket here in Florida, but they're actually the state bird of Mexico. But these guys, we do have a small pocket near Lake Okeechobee, pretty much anywhere up that area, anywhere where there's a lot of open field and not a lot of roads, not a lot of things, and not a lot of cars and cities and stuff. They don't really like that.
All right, let's give her a round of applause. So most of our birds of prey are permanent residents. Their injuries are so bad they can be released back to the wild, or they were part of the pet trade. So as you're walking around, we have our owls that are nocturnal. So we have 5 types of owls in Florida, so you guys can check them out too. We also have, a lot of our birds come in hit by cars or shot, but sometimes they just get kicked out of the nest. Sibling rivalry is alive and well. Sometimes they get kicked out, people find them, they bring them to us. So we try and match them up with the like kind. Then they get trained really to hunt, look what they're doing, and be able to go out and maybe fly over your house one day. Because that's what we really want. We really want to make that heart-to-heart connection. We have a whole generation growing up inside and they're missing it. So I really appreciate all the kids here today. I do believe in No Child Left Inside, so give yourselves a round of applause for getting all my kids here. And we need the adults because we make the rules and we can scoot them out, right? So that's important too. So we do have a Facebook. Y'all can, we likes, and then we also have different programs that are coming up. We have our night walks, we have painting classes coming up, so we really appreciate that. So look on our Facebook page, on our website, and let's give these guys another round of applause. We do have a donation box in the back. We really appreciate donations. We are a nonprofit organization. We'll take a couple other animals up here. If you have any questions, want to come up and take a closer picture, that's fine too. And thank you very much.